Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be trying to catch the Zippersnake in this puzzle, which is the creation of two giant minds from the world of Sudoku, Marty Sears and Dorlir. Dorlir, of course, being the maths professor, and Marty Sears just being a general puzzle genius. And we're going to be competing with both their brains in this one. I've read the rules before I turned on the webcam, and this sounds very, very interesting. We're basically going to have to, when it says catch the zippersnake, we're going to have to build a zipper snake, which is going to be a zipper line that involves these three cells somehow, and dodging around some of this other grid furniture that we're seeing in the grid. This has got enormous approval rating. We've had it recommended to us a number of times, and it has 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so it might be quite tricky, and goodness only knows what that will mean after the last couple of days, where especially last night, I was just hanging my head in despair at my abject performance on the most wonderful puzzle that we did yesterday. It was Arctan's, this one, have I got it here? I do. 45, 45, 90. And I mean, I did solve it logically, but what I didn't see, which is so obvious, and would have really helped me. Spoiler alert coming up. So if you haven't done this puzzle, you must do it. But I'm about to mention something I should have seen. Once we had the idea that the circles had to contain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. What I should have realised is to put 6 circles into these 7 rows of the Sudoku is really difficult to do. I never quite thought about it in the right way, but you can see you can't put a circled 6 in the top row or the bottom row. And how many circled 6s can you include in the 3 middle rows? And the answer is only 2, because there are only 2 boxes here that have any circles in them at all. So if I put a circled 6, if I make any of those a circled 6, you know, that's the end of that box's contribution to circled 6s. If I make any of these a circled 6, that's the end of that box's contribution to circled 6s. So in these cells, and this, the maximum number of circled 6s you could put would be 2. And therefore you're going to have to put a circled 6 in every other row. And that's quite interesting in row 8, where there's only 1 circle. And if I'd noticed that, then I could have done exactly the same logic in the columns, because it's the same. And it's beautiful setting. So the moment that I overcome the idea about working out what digits were in the circles, which I did relatively quickly, I could have just written in a load of digits. And I'm so sorry, Arctan. I really was in despair last night, because and so many of you noticed that and noted that you did it in your own solves, and of course you did, because this channel is followed by a lot of very, very smart people. But one of the smart people was not me yesterday. Bah. Anyway, let us move swiftly. Let's glide over that small point and move on to happier topics. And happier topics include Riffclown's Sudoku Hunt, which is available to all our patrons right now. Loads of you have been enjoying it. Of course you have. This is a teaser for it. The Sudoku Gallery being open. Do check it out. You've got loads of time left to enter the monthly competition, which closes on the 20th of February. But yeah, you'll want to get stuck into those puzzles soon and get maximum enjoyment from them. So that's over on Patreon right now, as I think might be Mark's monthly solve of the Times monthly special crossword. I'm not certain that's been released yet, but it is imminent, because I've seen it hiding there as an unlisted video on YouTube. Now, what else have I got to tell you about? Let's do some birthdays. We've got some lovely birthdays to do today. I'll start off with Jordan over there in Jacksonville, Florida. And Jordan has turned 31 today. And I know this because your husband, Jordan, your husband is Jared, but Jordan, your husband, Jared, wrote to us and said you might appreciate a shout out. And I know that you've just had your 3rd daughter, Avery, back in December. And while you were in hospital dealing with the process of birth, which I think took quite a while, you got into cracking the cryptic, especially Fog of War Sudokus. And that's amazing to hear. I'm glad we provided any distraction at all. But yeah, I wish you a very happy birthday today. And I'm going to actually stay on the topic of your family, because I know that tomorrow it's your daughter Lily's 8th birthday, which is fantastic. And I think Lily does some solving as well, as does your 5-year-old daughter Amelia as well. So the whole family is involved. And I was tickled to hear that Amelia and Lily now refer to classic Sudokus as boring Sudokus. I'm saying nothing, except you've got no, some classic Sudokus are not boring, but on the whole, I think Lily, you've got 2 very discerning daughters there, and I wish you a happy birthday, Lily, for tomorrow. Jordan, a happy birthday for today. Sounds like there's going to be chocolate cake a go in that house. Many happy returns. Next, Laurie, who some of you may know from Laurie's Laboratory, who is an ever-present when we stream, always very generous as well. So Laurie, thank you so much for the support you've given the channel over the last few years. We really do appreciate it. And I guess I understand you're turning an age that's not quite a secret today, so we don't quite have to reveal it. But yeah, Laurie, thank you for the email. It's lovely to get emails like that. And I have sent you a poetry present. I hope that does arrive. And you did ask if I could read The Raven today. I will try. I will try and read it for you. If I do manage to record it, I'll add it on at the end of this video, and say happy birthday in that way. Next, Micah, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your partner Gemma wrote to us, and apparently the 2 of you watch Cracking the Cryptic on Friday nights during your spa nights together. I love the idea of a spa night. That sounds very, very civilized indeed. But Micah, you're not that keen on icing, I believe, so you're having dark chocolate cake. Well, that should still be good. And I wish you many happy returns for today. And then next, Raywins, I hope I'm saying that right. You have turned 25 today, and I know this because your partner Miles wrote to us and told us that you're off out for sushi this evening. You're going to have a sushi dinner in Camden. Well, that sounds great. Sushi is my favourite food after chocolate cake. So it sounds like you're going to have a very, very good evening and many happy returns. And they are the birthdays. That's put me in a better mood after my failures yesterday. Let us have a look at the rules of Catch the Zippersnake and see what Marty Sears and Dorlir have in store for us. Although now I'm thinking about poetry, I'm thinking about Hissing Sid. Once Hissing Sid, an evil snake, kept the woodland folk awake in fear and trembling every night, in case he gave someone a bite. If you don't know what that is, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you're missing. Go and look up Keith Michelle and look at his Top of the Pops performances. I think there's more than one of Captain Beaky. No, you should do. It's epic stuff. And in fact, Captain Beaky was written, I think, by Jeremy Lloyd. I might be about to misstate now, but I don't think I am. And Jeremy Lloyd wrote Only Fools and Horses, which is one of the most popular sitcoms in British comedy history. So that gives you an idea of what you're in for if you get into Captain Beaky and learn about. Beaky followed by his trusty band. That's above the club. Above the trees flew Batty Bat with his with his wings stretched out quite flat. Al's idea, the clever fellow, to have a flying umbrella. Anyway, stop it, Simon. Let us do some proper Sudoku. What are the rules of this puzzle? Normal Sudoku rules apply. That means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and every 3x3 box. I'm starting to misclick now as well. Draw a snake that starts and ends at a purple spot and has a purple spot exactly at its centre. Right, so one of these is the middle of the snake. The snake can only move orthogonally from cell to cell and may not touch itself, not even diagonally. So what does that mean? What does an orthogonal movement mean? Well, let's say that this square was on the snake, and we've got to decide where the snake goes next. The snake does not go there next, because these two cells are not orthogonally connected. Orthogonally connected means shares an edge. So we could go here, or we could go to any of those cells, although this would be a very strange start to the snake, because the snake's meant to start in one of these cells. Anyway, that's what that rule means. Now here is the part of the rules that is terrifying. It says the snake functions as a zipper line. Any pair of digits that are an equal distance from the central spot sum to the digit on that central spot. So imagine that. Can we do this? Imagine this is the zipper snake, and this is the middle of the zipper snake. Yeah, we could do that. There we go. Now, well, what this is saying is that whatever this digit is, let's make it 7. These two digits add up to 7. These two digits add up to 7, and that's because these two are the same distance from the middle of the snake. These two are the same distance. If the zipper, let's say it starts to spiral or move away, these two digits would then add up to 7. So that's how zipper lines work in the context of this puzzle. Okay, let's keep going down the rules. There are quite a few rules here, but I think most of them are fairly standard. It says any pair of cells connected by a clue, which is defined as a dot, a diamond, an X, or a V. So I think that's anything. That's anything. There are lots of different coloured dots, but I think dot covers everything. That's how I read that anyway. I hope that's right. Any pair of cells connected by a clue must either both be on the snake or both be off the snake. Right, so if we worked out that this cell was on the snake, then this cell would also be on the snake, and vice versa. If that's off the snake, that's definitely off the snake. Now, next, clues connected by a white dot are consecutive. Sorry, cells connected by a white dot are consecutive. So what that means is that this square here was a 2, this could be 1 or 3. Cells connected by a black dot are in a 1:2 ratio. So one is double the other. So if this was a 2, this would either be 4, because 4 is double 2, or it would be 1, because 1 is half of 2. Cells connected by a green dot must have a difference of at least 5. Right, so these are like German whisper snakes. In fact, that's quite interesting. The thought occurs to me that what we could have had is just a representative. We could have had lots of short, stubby German whispers lines, but Marty and Dorlir have preferred to do it by dot. And so what this means is, imagine this square was a 1. This square would now at least be a 6, because it needs to be 5 different at least from 1. So it could be 6, 7, 8, or 9 is how green dots should work. Still 2 or 3 more rules. It says cells connected by a red diamond have the same parity. So they're either both odd or both even. We've got 2 red diamonds. Cells connected by an X sum to 10. So this one, and cells connected by a V sum to 5. So those two sum to 5, and those two sum to 5. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Where are you, hissing Sid? I've got my Captain Beaky. All right, let's take some low-hanging fruit. Those squares have to be either a 1-4 pair or a 2-3 pair, don't they? X's are far more flexible. 4 different ways of making 10 in 2 digits, or 2 different digits, one should say. Okay, here is a question that's almost interesting. Where is 5 in row 8? And I ask that because I'm thinking about these green dots as a bit like German whispers lines, and I know you can't put 5 on a German whispers line because the next digit becomes impossible, because if you go down by at least 5 you get to 0 or negative numbers, and if you go up you get to 10 or higher numbers, and they won't work. So you can't put 5 in any of these squares, and you definitely can't put 5 on the next domino, because double 5 would be, well, you'd have to double the 5 to get to 10, and that will break normal Sudoku rules. So 5 is in one of those two squares in row 8, and that is such a dreadful pencil mark that I don't think I really... I mean, I know we're crazy people on Cracking the Cryptic, live crazy lives, but doing that, I mean, that's up there with the Rolling Stones in the 60s. If we do that, I'm not doing that. I will forget what that means. Okay, so we're probably going to have to think about this naughty snake. And okay, these are not walls, are they? Because it depends. They're either both in or both out. Yeah, I was wondering about if this is the start of the snake, how does it get out? But it's not. We're not saying it's penned in by the dots or the sort of the Sudoku grid furniture at all, are we? So it doesn't. It's not like it has to go like that. Yeah, it must be. It's going to be something to do with the snake. So, what are we told here? We've got to build a zipper line. Okay, and the zipper line has a middle. So it has an odd length. And that means, surely, that it must that means that... Well, yes, okay. So I do understand what that means. That means that we do know which of these three cells are the start and the end of the snake, I think. Although, hang on. No, we do. I was sort of gainsaying my brain there, because I was thinking about the example that we just did, where I did draw an odd length snake. I did put a middle on it, but then these two would be on the same sort of chess bishop's colour, and I was thinking, but that doesn't always have to be the case, so it's fine. Yeah, because if we had a length 3 snake, this would be the middle of the snake, and that's definitely not on the same bishop's colour. Yeah, so I think it's fine. So, all right, let me try and explain what I'm thinking here. So, we know that the zipper snake has an odd length, and we know that because there is a middle to it. And if there's a middle to it, imagine the middle is the unpaired digit on the zipper line. That is the nature of most zipper lines, although we are seeing some even length zipper lines now in Sudoku. But the nature of this, we know one of these is the middle digit, is the very middle cell of the snake. And then we know pairs of digits that are an equal distance from that middle point add up to the middle digit. So the only unpaired digit on the snake is the middle. So it must have an odd length. Now, what that means... yeah, it's hard to explain actually, but in my brain, therefore, I'm seeing that the two digits that are the ends of the zipper must be on the same bishop's move colour in chess. And that's because, well, it's because you have to move an even number of steps to go from one end of the zipper to the other end of the zipper. So how can I explain this? Let's imagine that the zipper line was overall 11 cells long. Then we know that the 6th position on that zipper line, the 6th cell, is the middle. There's going to be 5 cells, then the middle, and then 5 cells the other side. Now, how many steps would you have to take if you were standing on position 1 to get to position 11? You'd have to take an even number of steps, wouldn't you? Let's shorten the snake even more. Let's make it a 3-cell snake. How many steps, if you're on position 1, how many steps do you have to take to get to position 3? You only have to take 2. You've always got to take an even number of steps. But the nature of an even number of steps movement, when you can't move diagonally in Sudoku, let's count 11 cells. What we'll find is we'll be on the same bishop's colour as this. So let's count 11. So this is position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that cell is a potential end of the snake, and we will find that that's on the same bishop's colour. So we know for sure that the 2 ends of the snake are on the same bishop's colour. Now you can see very quickly they're on the same bishop's colour. So then the question is that on the same bishop's colour? Because we know that an odd length snake could have a middle that was on the same bishop's colour, because the length 5 snake would have. But this one is definitely not on the same bishop's colour as these. And you can see that very, very clearly, because I mean, it's on the leading diagonal, isn't it? So its bishop's colour is one of these squares. And no matter how, if these are chess bishops and you're moving them about this 9x9 chessboard, you can't ever get them onto this diagonal. It won't work. So this is a naughty stick-out digit. That must be the middle. It must be the middle. And okay, so I can see what that's going to mean, actually, because if that's the middle, if this is the middle, how did we get to this square from a snaky point of view? Well, we've got to take those 3 squares, haven't we? Because this is not an end of the snake, so there must have been a point. The snake must have sort of got into that cell and got out of it again. Yeah, okay. And now that cell can't be on the snake, because the snake is not allowed to touch itself, not even diagonally. So this square is not on the snake. So which means the snake goes like this. Oh, this is gorgeous. And this square is part of a domino, isn't it? Where we have to keep these are either both on the snake or both off the snake. So that's off the snake, which means the snake goes there, which means the snake now has to do a wiggle like this. This can't be on the snake, or the snake would touch itself. And now, oh, I see. Oh, this is a beautiful point. This is such a lovely puzzle already, because it's a bit like yesterday's. I loved yesterday's because, until I was in despair about it, but I loved it because you had to do a bit of thinking at the start about how to even approach it, and this is a bit the same. You have to think about how these circles can interact before you can even get this point. But now look, having got this point, these have the same parity. Now, do these 2 squares have the same parity? And the answer to that is no. These are consecutive digits. So one is even, one is odd. So if the snake does go here for its next move, then it will go there. But now these 2 digits are pairing off with these 2 digits from a zipper perspective. These two have to add up to this digit, and then these 2 have to add up to this digit. Well, how could that ever be the case? If these are both even, and one of these is even and one of these is odd, you can't make the pair. You can't make these add up to the same number. There's just no way. So this cannot go here. So it must go there, which means this is never on the snake now, because then the snake would touch itself. So this is all off the snake. And the snake can't touch itself, not even diagonally, so it can't go here, because it would be touching itself diagonally, so it has to go here, which means this has to be on the snake. So now, what's going on now? We've got, is this overlapping with the X? Hang on a minute. So those, So these two and these two are pairing off. So, right, okay, so we can use parity again, I think. Yeah, so one thing I know about an X domino is that the parity of the two digits on the X domino will always be the same. And the way to think about that, if you're not sure about it, is to think about what possible combinations could you have on an X domino in Sudoku. Well, you could have 1 and 9, they're both odd. 2 and 8 are both even. 3 and 7 are both odd. 4 and 6 are both even. So these have the same parity. So these must have the same parity as well, mustn't they? Because we've just looked at why it can't work if the parities are different across the zipper. So these have the same parity. So that means they're not a 1-2 pair. 1 and 2 do not have the same parity. And they're not a 3-6 pair. Because 3 and 6 don't have the same parity. So there are two more possible combinations for black dot that will work. 2 and 4 or 4 and 8. So there is now definitely a 4 on here. Okay, so this is fine, and 4 and 8 is too big, because if this was 4, 8, that would be 12 here and 10 here, which is 22 for two lots of this digit, because this digit is the sum of those two, and let's say that's y. And then these two must also add up to y, so 2y would be equaling 22, and that would require us to write 11 in the corner. There is no song that you can write that would justify that. It just cannot be 11 in the corner. So that means we must not have 8 in here. So we've got 6 in here, which means that 2y is equal to 16, which means we get 8 in the corner. So it's 8 in the corner. And therefore, what does that mean? That means I don't know exactly what that means yet. Yes, I do. So now my red diamond, these have the same parity. Well, that can't be even anymore, because 3 of the 4 even digits in Sudoku are looking at this diamond. The only even digit that's not is 6. If I put 6 on here, I couldn't have a partner with it. So this is an odd diamond. There's another odd digit on the white dot there. I suppose there's another even digit on the white dot as well. So actually, what we should probably do now, there's certain cells I can see that you can't get the snake into by the no touch rule, so all of those squares are definitely not on the snake now. And where is 9 in box 9? Hang on, there's loads going on. My brain suddenly has realised something. Okay, if this is 8, these two have to add up to 8. These two have to add up to 8. These two have to add up to 8 as well. So obviously 9 is here, but I think there's probably more. Well, where's... No. Nearly. Oh, no, it's fine. Yes, okay, where's 4 in this box? That's quite a reasonable question. We can't put 4 into any of these squares because their partner would be a 4 to add up to 8, and we get 2 4s in box 9. You can't put 4 here by Sudoku, so 4 is in one of those 2 squares, definitely. And the other digit that has to be in this triple is going to be this one's friend from the point of view of the oh, no, hang on. I know what this is. Yeah, because these are 2 and 4, I must have a 4 and a 6 on the sorry, that's obvious. This must be a 4-6 pair. because whichever one of these is 4, it must have a 4 opposite it to add up to 8. Whichever one of these is a 2 needs to 6 opposite it. So this is 4 and 6. So 4, I can get a 4 in box thingy, box 9 by Sudoku. So this is 9 and 1, 2 or 3 by the fact that these have to be at least 5 apart on the green line. Okay. So now what does that mean? Okay, I don't know, but I do know that digit is it has to be consecutive with 4 or 6. So that's 3, 5 or 7, I think. And that has a friend on the zipper, doesn't it, which is that digit. So these two digits together add up to 8. So this is either 3, 5 or 1. Ah, I see. Okay. This is so clever. This is so clever. It's yet another of these puzzles where you start to do it, you just go, how do you do that? How do you have these ideas? Where is 6 and where is 7 in this box now? And the answer is, I don't know. But I do know that they're in these 4 squares. And these 4 are sort of, they're paired up across the zipper, aren't they? So if you put a 6 here, you have to put a 2 here. If you put a 7 here, you have to put a 1 here. So these squares are, because they contain 6 and 7, they are a 1, 2, 6, 7 quadruple. So this square is not 1, it's 3 or 5, which means this square is 3 or 5. And that, no, it doesn't mean I know what this is. These two can't be 1 and 2 now. So, so this is 3, 9. Right, so that's 5. That's 3. That's 4, that's 6, and that has done it. And now we can get that digit, because that's got to be a 4, because it's its position. That's got to be a 2. Oh, this is beautiful. It's so beautiful. This is not a 6, so that's not a 2. Oh no, I can't do the same the other way around. It's already been done for us. We're going to have to go into a green dot from here, either that way or that way. Yes, that's fine. Okay. Yes, so I see why the two of them have done this, because if we're going into a green dot next, what's the difference between the next 2 digits on the snake from this digit's perspective? So if it goes up here, we know that these 2 digits are at least 2 apart, don't we? Well, I mean, they're at least 5 apart. I was just thinking in terms of German whispers. They can't obviously include 5, but they're at least 5 apart. Whereas if we go here to this digit, we know that these 2 digits are 1 apart. They're consecutive. So how could we possibly make, so let's say we went this way and this way. How could these possibly have the same sum? They just simply cannot. It's impossible, because these are only 1 different, and yet these are at least 5 different, and yet both have to add up to the same total. It cannot work. So because we don't know where this goes, but we know it has got that property, so the next move for the snake here must be not there. So it must go here. But okay, but if it then goes here, it can never go to this square, because then the snake will have touched itself. So both of these are off. That's impossible for the snake to visit. The snake has to go here. And that might mean something, but I'm not sure what. Oh, there you go. That's got to be a 2-3 pair now, because it can't be 1-4. Which means this square isn't 3. Oh, okay. No, sorry. It's obvious. If the snake goes up, again, the snake's closed before it's ever got before it's ever gone up here. And the snake would have touched itself at this point diagonally, so it doesn't go here. So it must go here. So these squares are now not capable of being snaked. That's not capable of being on the snake. This has this. We can extend that across its dot. This square would now be a cul-de-sac for the snake, and we know the only two cul-de-sacs are up there. So, right, but hang on. So now these two and these two are matching up, aren't they? I wonder if it's worth just doing something like that, just to remind me that these are the ones that pair off. Okay. What do we do with this new knowledge? Oh goodness, yeah. Okay, so we do now know where 5 goes in row 8. Because it's not there, because of that 5. So that is 5. So 5 is in one of these two squares in box 8. In box 8 now, as opposed to row 8. The rest of this row is made up of 1s, 2s, 7s and 8s, I want to say. But I don't know whether this is on the snake or not. Oh yes, but I don't need to know that. That's 8. Oh, it's gorgeous again. It's so simple once you see it. But look, you can't put 8 on its own zipper line, because one of these would have to be a 0, so that doesn't work. So this is now 1, 2, 7 triple. This is an 8. That must be across a German whisper line from a 1, 2 or a 3. And that can't, well, that now can't be on the snake because it's an 8, which means both of those squares are off the snake. So now, oh, I'm desperate for this snake to drop down here. That would be so funny if it sort of circumnavigates box 7. It would have, oh no, it can have 5 on it. It's not a German whispers line. It's a snaky line, a zipper snaky line. Okay, so hang on. If these are 1, 2 and 7 and they pair up with these, then these are from 1, 7 and 6. Okay. Don't know what that means. Let me, sorry, I'm not actually... I don't exactly know what to look at now. Right, okay, let's have a think. What is it that I'm meant to realise now? I've got a horrible feeling I might have to do some Sudoku soon, which would be most upsetting. We've got away with it so far, really. I wonder if it's... I don't think it's this dot, but... Well, if that's low, that would have to be a 1, wouldn't it? Because we've got 2, 3 and 4 in the row, so if that was 1, this would be high. So that's 1, 7, 8 or 9. Is that... I mean, it's a dreadful pencil mark, but I think I probably have to make it. 8 or 9. No, I don't think that's good enough. It's quite difficult for this X to be on the snake, because if it's on the snake it can't have 9 or 8 on it, so it would be 3, 7, and 3, 7 on the opposite side. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's beautiful, but it means my snake doesn't circumnavigate box 7. Oh, that's so sad. Well, at least, hang on. Does it definitely mean that? Or does it just mean it doesn't come in here? No, I think it's fine. No, it can still circumnavigate. It just doesn't... Well, okay, what the snake doesn't do is go there. But I think we've still got the opportunity for circumnavigation. Let me explain. If the snake goes here, it does that, doesn't it? Now, because we can't have a digit that's equal to 8 or 9 on the snake, and it can't have 6 here, this is a 3-7 pair. Now that means the other side of the snake, which is the next 2 digits after this one, have to be, well, they have to include 5 and they have to include 1. And this 5 is, well, where are we going to get the 5 from is the question I want to ask. There's no 5 possibility up here, and there's no 5 possibility down here, so I don't think we can go in here. So I think we must turn, well, we must turn there, and then that becomes off the snake, which means they're both off the snake. So then we poke our heads up into row 3. And then I want to do that. I really want to do that. I don't know whether I'm allowed to or not. So what about these digits? Are these under any pressure? Not really. They can't be 3 or 4. Oh, Bobbin, sorry if you're all shouting at me. I fear that you may be at the moment. I'm not exactly... I feel I got off to a good start, and now I've just plummeted to oh, come on, Simon, what is it? Yeah, I feel like I've just stalled out now, and I'm not having any good ideas as to exactly where to look next. No, that's not a good idea. I just had a silly idea. Is there some... If you go there, you have to go there. I know that is that end of the snake, don't I? Because if this joined up to there, then this could never join up to here without crossing the snake. So this and this are connected, or need to be connected to each other. This and this need to be connected. That feels a bit weird. Actually, that's going to be... Oh, I see. Right, gosh. Okay. Here is the point. This is beautiful. I should have seen this a bit more quickly, I think, but I didn't. How many cells of snake can live in this box? In fact, we can go further than that. How do you get the snake? How do you get the snake at all into box 3? It's not that easy to do it. Because to get it in, the point is, to get it in, you've got to get it out again. And this is an orthogonally moving snake that's not allowed to touch itself. So when it turns, it makes very wide turns. It can't do little itty-bitty turns like this. It can't turn on its sixpence. It needs to turn in a U pentomino like that. And that I think is the only way it can go into box 3 at all. Because if it goes down here and tries to go in, obviously this black dot is telling us it has to take both of those cells. So if we go right here, we're going to have to take both of the cells. Then we can't go off for wandering, because then we can't turn. And I think, unfortunately, this is going to kibosh my ability to go to circumnavigate box 7, because let me just, where are we in terms of, no, okay, I've got 2 more cells here. So if I go 2 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need, if I circumnavigate here, I need at least 8 more cells from here to close this snake up. Yeah, it's weird. You can't do it. There's no way. There's not enough space to do it. If you turn right and try and avail yourselves of the box 3 cells, you can do a U pentomino. You can get there, but you can't come here. The snake will touch itself. So you have to close the snake. So that means there are 5 more cells before the snake closes. And there's at least 8 more cells there. So we can't do that if we want to circumnavigate box 7. So we'd have to somehow, we can't go here because the moment we turn we'll hit this. So we've got to go there, we've got to go there. I can't come down because by the time I've done a U pentomino, I'm going to touch the snake that's coming up column 1. There's not enough space. In fact, I'm going to claim there's 5 more space. 5 more white spaces maximum for the cell before this one will meet the start or end of the snake here. So there is no possibility we can circumnavigate box 7. There's just not enough space for us to have the right number of cells. So we're going to have to unfortunately venture out of box 7. It's still going to be quite tricky, this. So let's keep track. So now we've got those 2 are the same as those 2. Or when I say the same, I mean they pair off. So in fact, now that digit is the same as, well, not, that's got to be a 5 or a 6 by that logic. And the next cell, wherever that is, has to be a 5 or a 6 as well. So that would be very interesting. If the snake goes there, that would have to be a 6. Oh, hang on. Oh, this is great. Yeah, okay. Well, now the snake can't go there for its next move because we know that we need a 5 or a 6 for the next move. That is not a 5 or a 6, knowledge bomb. So we don't go there for the next move, which means we can sort of do that, can't we? Yeah, and now both of these are out. Because if we're going there or there for the next move, the snake would touch itself if it ever visited this point. So both of these turn green. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 5 more at least to close the loop. So if we didn't go in here, 1, 2, 3, we can't, there's just not enough space. So we have to turn into here. This is just gorgeous setting. The choices made by the constructors to make this path, to force the Zippersnake's path, are just beautiful. So we have to go here because we need so many more cells to close the snake on the left. And if we don't go in here, we haven't got those cells available. We've got a maximum of 3. So we're going to have to do those 2. Now we can't have the snake ever going here. The snake must go there, and therefore it finishes. So that is the finish of the top bit of the snake. This digit now is the partner of this. Can't put 5 on a black dot, so that's going to have to be a 6. That's a 3. That's a 3. That's a 9. Okay, and now that means if that's 6, that's the 2, that's the 3. Oh yeah, well now we need a 5, don't we? We need we need the digit that's opposite this one. The 6 pairs off with the 2. So the next digit that this bit of the snake gets is a 5, which can't be there because it would clash. So it's got to turn. Oh, it's just miraculous. So all of this is off the snake. All of this is off the snake. All of this is off the snake. Anything over here is all off the snake. They can't ever go into a 2-cell thing because we need a U pentomino to turn. So the question now is going to be whether we go in here or not. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that this is a 5. And that is going to do, well, it's going to get rid of a 5 here. It means there's a 5 in one of these by our old friend, fair weather friend, Sudoku. And these have the same parity, don't they? So if we do go here, if these have the same parity, these will have the same parity. Which is probably fine. That's not 6. Where's the partner of that one? So the partner of that one is that one. So this is now 1 or 7 only. But it's no, this is a green dot. Do I know what that digit is? I know it's not 2, that's for sure. It's 1 or 3. Do I know what that digit is? That's 5. Oh, that's just the partner of that one. Bother. 5 in the middle box. Ah, where's 5 in the middle box? That's a good question. By Sudoku, and by the fact it can't go on an X, it's in one of these 2 squares, and that means it's not here. So 5 is placed in box 8. Oh dear, that's not 6. If that's not 6, its counterpart is not 2. So 2 is in one of 2 places in box thingy thing. Oh, here's a good question maybe. Where's 6 in this box? It can't go on the odd red diamond, so it's in one of those 2 squares. So 6 is we don't know. We don't know very much about 6 actually. Okay, let's think about this digit then. That's partner. These 2 are a pair, aren't they? Right. Yeah, this digit has to be either 1, 2, 6, or 7. Actually, that's not nearly what I was hoping for. So that digit is 1, 2, 6, or 7, and literally it doesn't see anything of any value at all that's going to restrict it. That's most peculiar. This digit is 1, 2. That's 1, 2, 5 or 7, I think. I can't see why that's not going to work. But we don't know where the next digit is, do we? I suppose we do know something, which is that the next digit is either going to be there or there. So if this was 5, we'd need a 3 in one of those, so that's definitely not 5. That's very, very annoying. I don't think we can do anything with that. Well, no, actually I'm wrong. That's a 1, 2, 7 triple. That's come out of nowhere, so these are a 5, 8 pair in the column. And now this digit might be available. That's got to be consecutive with this digit. So if this is 5, this has to be 6 because it can't be 4. If this is 8, this has to be 7 or 9. Wow, that doesn't actually do anything then. This can't be 5 because we know that 5 is in one of those squares. Where is... I know that's a totally stupid... Well, it's not a stupid question, but it doesn't have a very good answer. So I'm going to ask where 3 is in that box. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so... Oh, I'm sorry. If you can see this very clearly, well done. I'm not seeing this at all. I think it's going to be to do with this red dot. Actually, maybe that digit. Let's just check that one. 1, 2. That's 1, 2, 6, and 7 again. See, it looks like this. I'm meant to be spotting either a triple or a quadruple or something. 2, 6, 7. Ah, do I now know what this is? I bet you I do. Or maybe I don't. I mean, come on, Simon. What's going on? I can't see what to do at all. We could. So what do we know? If it goes there, these have the same parity. And the actual options for them would have to be less than 8. So this would be 1s, 4s, 6s, and 7s. Now, 1s, 4s, 6s. We couldn't put 4 into them because neither of these can be 4. So then we couldn't put 6s into them because they're meant to be of the same parity. So this would be a 1-7 pair. And that means these have to both be odd, which means these would be a 1-7 pair. Good grief. Right. Okay, that doesn't work because of that little naughty square. Good grief. That's very complicated. That's suddenly got very hard, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to actually go through that a bit. Well, I'm going to go through it slowly just to check. So I think because these digits have to, if we go here for our next move, these digits have to be lower than 8, obviously. So just in terms of, we list all the options out, 1, 4, 6, and 7. Now, if either of these were 4, one of these needs to be 4, and that doesn't seem to be possible. And that takes 6 out as well, because these have the same parity. So these are 1-7 in this instance. These have to both have the same parity. Ah, hang on. Hang on. No, what are you talking about? It's not that they both have the same parity. They have to be a 1-7 pair, because they have to be 1 and 7 in order to add up to 8. So it definitely doesn't work, because this would be a 1-7 pair. But these must be different because they must be 1 and 7. And if they're 1 and 7, that square cannot exist because whether it's 1 or 7, it's stopping these, it's making these either add up to 14 or 2, and that won't work. So it doesn't work. It is right. It is right to say that this is not the next movement. So the next movement must be there, which means this is never on the path. So the next movement is there. And now... Okay, so now these were paired off. So these two digits here, let's use green. They're the same as these two. Whoa. Those are the same. They're the same as these digits. So this is either 1, 7, or 6. Oh, that's very disappointing. And this is either 1, 7, 2, or 6. Okay, at least I can get rid of one digit there, because that does see 6, which means that can't be 2. And that might mean something. Wow. I mean, if this was a low digit, it's going to determine this for me, which would be a nice thing to know. Okay, so I don't know what to do again. That last step was hard as well. That was very difficult. So we could be having to think about something really quite complicated here. And that is a slightly terrifying thought. The other possibility, and this is a very real possibility, is that I've just missed some basic Sudoku. And with the application of basic Sudoku, this would be very, very much more straightforward. That's not 5. But, golly gosh, I don't know. This is... That can't be 2, actually, I've just noticed by Sudoku. So that's 1 or 7. Okay, so that's got to have 1 or 7 as a partner, which is that cell, is it? So that's... Right, okay, well that's given me a little bit of a leg up then. Because if this is a 1-7 pair, this can't be a 1-4 domino, can it? Because if this is 1-4, both of those are 7 and they're adding up to 14, and that's not right. So this is a 2-3 pair, and that's going to mean, that means 3, and there's a possibility of a 3 in the corner here by Sudoku. This digit now might be worth investigating, because it has to be, again, it's got to be lower than 8, doesn't it? So it's either 1, 4, or 7. Both. Is that somehow... Is that, am I meant to know what to do with that? I don't know. I probably am somehow, but I don't know what to do with it. Okay, well let's try it with this digit as well. We may as well while we're here. So 1, 4, this is 1, 4, 6 or 7. And that obviously has to have a partner there, which is now 1, 7, 2, or 4. And it just doesn't see enough. It doesn't see enough things for it to be helpful. If I could get rid of... If I could get rid of 6 from here, this would be 1, 2, 4, 7. Quadruple. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to have to think about other things that possibly we're meant to do here. What about... Oh, I thought I was going to get a 5 there. Oh, no, nearly. I thought I was going to get a 2 as well. I think it's Sudoku. It must be Sudoku I'm missing. Naughty Sudoku. Is it possible I've missed combinations here that could be better eliminated? Certainly possible. Or is it this digit? Because I haven't really marked up this digit. I know it's on a green dot opposite a 1, 7, 8 or 9. So if it's low, it's 1 or 2. And if it's high, it's 7, 8 or 9. That's horrible. No, I mean that is just an awful pencil mark. Okay, so it's not that. What could it be? No, I thought it was going to be 2 over here, but it's not. Or if it is, it's not. There's a 4 over there. Three is in one of 2 places in box 7. I don't know what this is, do I? If that's... No, I just don't. I mean, I know they're both the same parity, but I simply don't have enough information. I don't think I do anyway. I'm wondering if I'm meant to colour some of these digits somehow. That is a possibility, isn't it? Like these 1s and 7s, are they somehow... I mean, I know these are different. Is that somehow critical? Is it critical? I don't know. Okay, so there's nothing obvious that's jumping out at me there. 3s, 6s... 6 in this... Oh no, 6 can be there in the box. Sorry, I was about to say something that's just not true. I do try not to do that. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. That's literally got all the options it could possibly have. And I just don't think I know enough. I know that the penultimate digit is 147, and that's going to be opposite 147 as the options. So that's either there or there. There is a digit that is a 1, 4, or 7. I just don't think that's good enough. 2? Is it something to do with 2s? No, it's not. Oh dear. Okay, so I'm now feeling like I'm properly stuck, which is a terrifying thought. If I can't do the puzzle now, I will be weeping into my Hovis later. Okay, come on, Simon. 2, 6, 7. I know that these two digits are different. Is that useful? I don't know. It might be. It's interesting because literally, I was just thinking, if I could get rid of a 2 from here, for example, all of a sudden, that being a 2 would give me a 6 over here. Oh, hang on, that can't be 6. Oh, well, okay. I've lucked into something there. That is 1 or 7. And the counterpart to that one is that one. That is, there we go. So, yes, it's this 6 pencil mark that I'd underused. And that means this is a 4. And that means also that is a 6, which must go opposite a 2. Here we go. We could be away now. Are we away or not? There's a, yes, 2 in the corner. I mean, I feel like singing for it, but it is true. That is a 2 because there's a 2 here. So now this is not a 2, which means this has got to be a 1-7 pair. So that means the others are a 6-2 pair, which we can fill in. Come on, come on, come on. That's now 6, which means that's 5. That's got to be 8. We can tidy this up. We can... No, we probably can't get that because we don't know that one. But that being 5 means that's 5 by Sudoku. This being 8 takes 8 out of there. That's not going to do anything. Okay, so the 1-7, 1-7. So now let's make that purple so we've got it clear. These two have got to be green, and there is a 4 in one of these two squares, definitely. Oh, I want to put a 4 pencil mark in. So 4 in one of those. Still don't know what this is. It was that was going to be useful when it was on the snake, but now it seems to have lots of different options. Where is 6 in... Oh, I don't know. That's just a bad question. Don't ask bad questions, Simon. It's not true in Sudoku that there are no such things as bad questions. Simon was just about to ask a bad question. Okay. No, I was wondering, they're not the ones that are paired. They're the ones that are paired. They're the ones that are paired. Okay, so where should we look now? Well, we had a flurry of activity. 4 is in one of these. Yeah, that makes sense with 4 being over here. 4 is also over here. And 1, 6, 7, 9. I think I'm going to label this one up because it feels again like there's some sort of quadruply thing happening there. Oh no, that's what I was thinking. I was going to align the 2s, but no, that's not a good thought either. 1, 2, 6, 7, 9. So 8 in the column is either here or here. I am now in a position where I could colour the 1s and 7s, I think. So that's going to be the next thing I do. If I don't spot something quickly, I'm definitely doing that. See, this column needs 1, 7, 8 and 9. So that square is 8 or 9 by Sudoku because it sees the 1, 7 pair. Yeah, maybe I will colour these up. That digit has to go somewhere in this column, so that's there, which means this digit is the same as this one. And now by sort of opposites across the zipper line, that's got to be yellow, so that's got to be grey. And this digit is therefore yellow. Now its partner is that one, which must be grey. So grey is now either here or here. And either it's in one of those two squares. So that digit must be 8 or 9 by Sudoku then, because there's a virtual floating 1, 7 pair within those 3 digits. And are there any cells that are seeing both colours of one of the 1, 7s that we could really do something with? That square, but that we know so little about this box. Or are there any? Oh, there's a yellow 1, 7 in here. One of those two. I don't know. Or the other thought is if I could at least know the parity of this German whisper, maybe that would be useful. Okay. Oh, 1, 7 gives me a 3 here. That's probably it. Oh, well, that does give me a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Okay, so 5 in the top row has to go here by Sudoku now. So this is 8 or 9. And it's not 8, so that's 9. That's 8. Is that doing wonders? It might be. 4 in this column. And 6 are the digits to place. Oh, bother. We don't know the order. Which means I don't know. If this was a 4, I'd know it was the counterpart to this 4. And I know how the zippersnake would finalise itself. But no, we don't quite know that yet. Oh, I've got a 1, 7 pair in this row. That's been there forever, has it? Oh, sorry. That's a 2. That's on a whisper, so this is 7. So grey is 7 wherever it occurs. That means yellow is 1 wherever it occurs. And therefore we might be able to... Well, we might be in better shape all of a sudden, I feel. Let's hope that that's going to be the last sticky point. So if that's 6 or 7, that is the digit after... That's the opposite of this one, isn't it? I think. So that's got to be a 6. This is 1, 2 or 7. So that can't be 2 anymore. Still not sure. 1, 4, 8 and 9 into these gaps. Let's just pencil mark it up. These can't be 8s. These can't be 9s. Can we do better? That's not 4. That's not 1. Oh, it's so close to cracking now. That's a 1, 9 pair, in fact, in this column. So that is 4, which means that digit should be a 5. I feel like I've got all the 5s. Indeed, I do. 4s, though. Yeah, if that's a 4, that can't be a 4. So that's 4, and that's how the zippersnake closes at last. Right. So these two are opposites. These two are opposites. That earns the rank of green. That means this down here is a 6. This is a 1, 8 pair. That's got to be a 6. We need a 6 in box 1. And these squares are 7, 8 and 9 in this box. Which means this is 1, this is 9. Maybe this is where... Oh, it could be this one as well. I don't know. Still don't know the nature of that either. 5. So if this is odd, this is a 7-9 pair. And that looks like it might work. That would put a 6 here and make this a 4-8 pair. Oh, that's not 6 anymore. So the opposite to that one is that one. So these are a 1-7 pair. We can know the order now. So that's 7, that's 1, that's 1, that's 8. Oh, that's not good. That's not good for this. Because now, if this must have an even digit on it, because 6 and 8 in the box can't both live in this square. So this is an even parity line. So that's 4, 6 and 8. And you can't put 6 on it, I've just noticed. So that's 4, 8, which means we get 4 in box down here. These two squares are going to be a 9 and a 7, which is resolved. So 7, 9, 1 here. This is 2, 8, 9. So we still don't know what this is. And these squares over here have got to be... this is a 6. This is a 7-9 pair, so we can fill that in. This isn't 7 anymore. And that's got to be a 3 or a 7. Ah, it can't be 7. Okay, so that is 3, that's 9, that's 7. These two squares are a 1-9 pair, which is now resolved. 1, 9 go in. This is an 8 at the top, so that's a 2. Now, oh, we've known that for a moment or two that was high. That's 9, that's 7. 7, that's 9, that's 8. Now we must know, hopefully something will fit on this zipper and be, well, the only thing is 2, 8. That's the only thing that can work there. So these are 3 and 4, which is in that order. That's 4 and 8, that's 2 and 3, and suddenly we might be done. Goodness me, that's a brilliant puzzle. 111 people have solved that in 27 days. Do I like it? Yes, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I think I was slow at the end mainly because I missed Sudoku markings. I missed the 6 over here, for example. And after that, I don't think it was complicated. It was a little bit fiddly to narrow down the 1-7's options. But nothing too difficult. I mean, 4 stars feels right for that. It was very, very clever. I loved the beginning. I really loved the way that the snake could sort of could edge its way out from box 9, and you could determine the zipper corner because of this black dot's interaction with the X. I mean, imagine if you're working on this puzzle and you have that idea. You just go, yeah, that's really clever. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because, you know, that's how my brain rolls. Yeah, but there were other points that were lovely. Yes, yeah, it was very clever the way you couldn't circumnavigate this box 7, because actually, I think it's this black dot that's very, very smart, because it so limits the length of the line, and because you've got this no diagonal constraint, you're effectively tying up this endpoint to this within a very small number of cells. So that's, again, it's just totally different logic to a lot of the other logic that you have to do. I mean, it's a brilliant workout for the brain, this. Loved it. I think we got Hissing Sid in the end, didn't we? We caught him. Yeah. Captain Beaky. It's Captain Beaky. The bravest animals in the land are Captain Beaky and his band. That's Reckless Rats. Oh, hang on, who is it? Artful Owl, Batty Bat, no. Someone. Can't remember. I've got to read The Raven as well. I've got to stop. Thank you very much for watching. Brilliant Marty, brilliant Dorlir, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. but the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then unto the velvet sinking I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by the angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked up starting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.